each of you give us your estimate of what is the meaning of this to all of us?
You want to try that?
After you.
Today we have with us a group of students among America's best. To you we say, we have only completed a beginning. We leave you much that is undone. There are great ideas undiscovered, breakthroughs available to those who can remove one of truth's protective layers. One of truth's protective layers. There are places to go beyond belief. Those challenges are yours. In many fields, not the least of which is space, because there lies human destiny.
You sometimes seem uncomfortable with your celebrity, that you'd rather not have all of this attention.
No, I just don't deserve it. No, I just don't deserve it.
Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened. And if it didn't happen, it's nice to know why it didn't happen, so in the future, if we want to keep doing something, we need to know why something stopped in the past that we wanted to keep it going.
What was the scariest moment of the journey?
Scariest. It didn't happen. It could have been scary. Circuit breaker.
Well, let's talk about this, because this is fascinating. I remember very clearly, I think anybody who was alive at the time does, I remember my parents waking me up and we went down and we watched you guys land on the moon.
No,
which
you
was
didn't. No, you didn't.
What?
Because there wasn't any television. There wasn't anybody taking a picture. You watched animation.
There wasn't any television. There wasn't anybody taking a picture. You watched animation.
See, you associated what you saw with...
I have very hazy memories.
Yeah, I know.
Well, no, but what we saw was we all were gathered around the old curved top radio and listened.
Talking about, you know, how many feet we were going to the left and right, and then I said, contact light, engine stop.
It was
and a few
exciting.
other things, and then Neil said, Houston, Tranquility Base, the Eagle has landed. Man, how about that?
That was very exciting.
Not a bad line.
Yeah, yeah. This was
Not a bad line.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, great Vice President. The future of American space leadership, and again, for a long time. So we're going to look back and say, how did we do it without space? Feel very strongly about it. I felt strongly about it for a long time. I used to say, before doing what I did, I used to say, what happened? Why aren't we moving forward? Today's announcement sends a clear signal to the world that we are restoring America's proud legacy of leadership in space. At some point in the future, we're going to look back and say, how did we do it without space? The Vice President will serve as the Council's chair. The privatization of certain aspects is going to play a very crucial role, don't you think? They are truly into it. I will say that's not easy because everybody wants to be on this board. People that you wouldn't have believed loved what we're doing so much. They want to be some of the most successful people in the world want to be on this board. The human soul yearns for discovery. By unlocking the mysteries of the universe, we unlock truths within ourselves. That's true. Our journey into space will not only make us stronger and more prosperous, but will unite us behind grand ambitions and bring us all closer together. Wouldn't that be nice? Can you believe that space is going to do that? I thought politics would do that. Well, we'll have to rely on space instead. Every launch into the skies is another step forward toward a future where our differences seem small.
Story, look at all those people back there. Look at that. Oh, that fake news. No, they understand.
People actually believe they walked on the moon, talked with Nixon, played golf, drove a car, and planted a flag.
If you really believe that Neil Armstrong took the first step, then why do you give any credit to the cameraman already there waiting for him?
These guys were all U.S. military men coerced into acting. They wanted the money and power that came with the deal, of course. The problem was, they were terrible actors. They couldn't even pretend to be excited, knowing they were lying to the world. But the show had to go on. Michael Collins and Neil Armstrong rarely spoke in public about it. But there was one man not shy about lying to your face. The spokesperson for the Apollo deception.
It's my pleasure to present Colonel Edwin Aldrin.
No handshake, hug, smile. Their facial expressions are similar to those experiencing constipation, not celebrating an accomplishment.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is with a great sense of pride as an American and with humility as a human being that I say to you today what no men have been privileged to say before. We walked on the moon.
I mean, they couldn't pay them enough to look up and smile? Society has always debated these planned Apollo events since day one, never imagining then that almost 50 years later, they haven't had the balls to fake another.
Are you afraid for the truth to come out?
For the progress of all people. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
With his enduring words, President Kennedy inspired a generation of astronauts, scientists, engineers, and explorers to make the impossible possible. To make the impossible possible. To make the impossible possible.
People looked into the night sky and beheld the moon as a distant wonder. Flying to the moon was a metaphor for the impossible. Was a metaphor for the impossible. President John F. Kennedy boldly proclaimed that his generation would choose to make what seemed impossible a reality. What seemed impossible a reality.
When you dream big, you can achieve what seemed impossible. When you dream big, you can achieve what seemed impossible. To ignite generations of great achievements, to dare, unite, and explore, and lead the world in human space exploration. Our team plays a pivotal role in enhancing scientific and technological knowledge to benefit all of humankind. To benefit all of humankind.
And imagination soar. We choose to go to the moon because they are hard. They are hard. Hard. It's a spirit that drives us to make the impossible possible. To make the impossible possible. The impossible possible. The space program, let us continue to dream the impossible dream that now becomes real. To dream the impossible dream, the impossible dream. One of the greatest adventures in the history of humankind.
I am Eddie Bernice Johnson on science, space, and technology. On science, space, and technology. Science to accomplish what then seemed impossible. Space. And many people comment all the time about how much it costs. For every dollar we invest, we get $7 back in services and materials. Nothing in my experience in working is more fascinating than space exploration. Thanks to the Artemis program. Thanks to the Artemis program. Artemis program. Landing on the moon. The first woman and the first person of color choose to do the hard things you never thought would be possible.
But to accomplish this extraordinary feat, hard, because they're hard. Partnerships, the most daring exploration program that humanity has ever seen, where no one has ever gone before, to the moon, to Mars, and even beyond, where no one has ever gone to the moon.
Are you ready to go back to the moon? Do you believe we can go to Mars? Would you like to go to Mars? We are Americans. We do things, we get them done, and we will be the first to do them because we were the first to go to the moon. Reduce the impossible to the difficult, but because they are hard. Believe that we can do the difficult things because they were hard.
Now kids today look at the moon and look at Mars and wonder what it would like to walk on the moon and later go on to Mars. That's what this is all about, is dreaming. To make sure that we choose to go to the Mars and more.
We are going in ways that would be impossible. We're flying helicopters on Mars to understand our own home planet, Earth. We're more inclusive, we're more diverse. Humanity as a spacefaring species is just a part of what we do. Since November 2nd of 2000, humans have been continually living and working in space. Look up, watch it fly overhead. Watch it fly overhead. My friends are up there.
Right up, we're gonna take my juice. There's a deadly virus episode on the loose. You best be scared, you best be protected. So roll up your sleeves and get your ass ejected. Step right up and come and take my juice. They dropping like flies, don't you watch the news. If you don't take my juice tonight, you gonna get sick, you're gonna surely die. I don't mind.
For the new Artemis missions, to the moon, and paving our way to the future.
Houston, we have a problem. Thank you.
The Artemis scam's ready. Ready to make you believe the impossible. Ready to ignore real social issues and steal more money than ever before. The activation of mind control zombies with hypnotic spacecraft code triggers. The Artemis hoax is ready for the masses. And the Artemis generation propaganda will be everywhere. The CGI journey, designed to replace reality with simulations, starts right here at the Nazi-founded launchpad Sucker B. This empty virtual vessel will test and prove your gullibility to prepare the way for future space deceptions. When the hypnotic countdown hits 0 and the producers at the Nazi compound activate our animations, this beast will grasp your little minds, and our choreography will keep you in permanent trance. Despite very poor aerodynamics, you will believe that we can accelerate from 0 to over 20 times the speed of sound in 8 minutes and enter the spinning ball Earth's orbit. Our magic propulsion pushes against the vacuum to raise Olion even higher. And once your mind is cracked out to continue, magic propulsion kicks in again, pushing Olion beyond the bounds of fiction. At this point, our lunacy will be irresistible. It takes several days for the spacecraft to kick in, but as your mind becomes a void, many new fictions will be securely imprinted, tested, and proven. 240 spacecrafts later, Olion will impose a pear-shaped orbit with a cartoon, one that will make Olion echo deep within your dwarfed mind, diminished by 40,000 times its original capacity. This is a size smaller than any human-rated mind has ever been reduced to before. As useless as reaching the moon will be, remaining a lunatic forever is just as significant and stupefying. Every fictional claim we make, every cartoon we show on this journey, prepares feeble minds to believe anything we say and never think for themselves. So after several rounds of mind control, Olion will crack you witless, pushing against the vacuum between your ears and remain lodged like a parasite. This is some spacecraft built for the most impressionable, innocent, and credulous riffraff groomed on science fiction to remain clueless. Back at the Ball Earth mental prison, Olion pops off as cartoon physics dictates, preparing to dull the indoctrinated with a final blue pill, reducing the believer's mental capacity by a factor of 24,500 lies per hour. With all questions and any distrust burned into a crisp, the protective layers around your brain are instantly charged, slowing your ability to distinguish reality from fiction considerably, until finally, Dicker shoots pop out, allowing Olion to gently dip into the passivity ocean. With cartoons, you can safely shoot spacecraft again. This is the joke that Artemis spun, and it will set the precedent for all scams that follow. Ignoring all social issues around the world, this is the racket we choose. To weaken the underclasses, to starve the hungry, lying away from your birth to your doom, to mock and be dumb. We are scamming.